Why are you
Okay,
sitting
we're
in a
recording.
parking lot? Oh,
Good morning. This is Executive Director Love Carpenter and April Schillig, and we are so excited to introduce to you Lori Gilbert. Lori Gilbert comes from York, PA, and we're thrilled to be presenting for her to present her information to us. She decided to dip her toes into the virtual world in May. On April 24th, she had one show set up for May and was looking to earn Excellence Award, and she had never done a virtual show before. And in the month of May, she did $19,000. So we're going to let Lori tell her story to all of us. And thank you so much, Lori.
hi everybody. Well, little background. I was on the Pampered Chef incentive trip, went on a cruise in April and met, lots of consultants. But the morning of the cruise, we had gone a day early, ran into a couple. They came up to us. We had our trip shirts on and they were like, we're with Pampered Chef too. So we kind of hung out with them while we were, getting processed on the boat and had lunch together, and found out from the girl, her name's Kristen, that she had earned the trip in 3 months. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's not quite right. It took me a whole freaking year to make it. So, and that seemed to be a recurring theme. The more people I was meeting on the trip, some that had been with the company for a while, some that were brand new, that earned the trip in 3 to 4 months. And I was like, well, how did you do it? And they were like, well, we're doing virtual parties. So I was like, really? We what the had dinners with different people, and the last night we had kind of a big group dinner with a bunch of Pampered Chef consultants, and I met another girl that also had earned the trip in 3 months, and I was like, maybe maybe now is the time to go ahead and try to hit it, or try to do virtual parties. So we were in the airport getting ready to leave, and Kristen asked me, she said, how far away are you from excellence? I said, I don't know, I've not even been tracking it. It hadn't been a real stellar year for me. And she said, well, no, really, how far away are you? And I said, well, it looks like $19,600, something like that. She said, well, you can do that doing virtual parties. I said, no, I can't. That's an awful lot to do in a month. I said, I think my biggest month ever was $11,000. She said, well, I'll show you how to do it. I'm like, okay, if you say I can do it, I'll give it a try. So she gave me the words to use for how to green dot people through Facebook. And it's just a cute little, and I'll be happy to share it with everybody too. Just, will you help me do something new? I'll spoil you with free products and that sort of thing. It's really super simple. So she gave me the words to use, and I started messaging people, and we got back on April 24th. I had one show on the calendar, which was just one cooking show for May. So I thought, well, I'll start out with doing 10 shows. I figured that'll be my goal, is to try to book 10 shows. So April 24th, I started messaging people, and then I was in contact with Kristen the whole time. So people started coming back saying yes. And I was like, holy cow, I can't believe they're saying yes. So I was messaging her. I said, I got one booking. I got two bookings. This was all in a day. I booked 10 shows in one day. And I couldn't believe it. People were actually saying yes to it. So she got me all squared away to start all my parties the 1st through the 10th. That's how I run mine. I run the 1st through the 10th, and then I do them the 15th through the 24th. So the goal is, like, the first chunk that you do, you'll be closed by the 15th. So you'll be green by 15, which is kind of fun. And then the second bunch, since it's the 15th through the 24th, you can, pretty much be assured to close them by the 30th or the 31st, the end of the month. So I knew that 10 shows wasn't enough. So I decided to keep booking and booked 15 more parties to start from the 15th through the 24th. Because I knew I had one party, but I knew it wasn't going to be that good. So I knew I had to get more shows booked. In the meantime, Kristen helped me with all the scripts I was going to need for my party. And there's nothing special about my party other than what I have found I do is I'm very interactive in the parties. Just like if you were going to have everybody in your living room talking to your guests, it's the same thing. This is a virtual living room. So I'm just very interactive with the party, and I make sure my hosts are very interactive in the party. And I ended up booking 25 shows. 22 of them were good ones. I had 3 bad ones, 3 duds. But that happens just like with anything. And I think by having more scheduled, you don't feel the pain so much as, like if you only had 2 scheduled and 1 was a dud. So 3 of them were duds. I ended up selling over $21,000, but I only needed to submit 19 and some change. So I submitted what I needed and then just carried the rest over to June.
That's amazing.
So Lori, when you said that you booked 10 parties in one day, how many people? I'm guessing you messaged more than 10 people, right? How many
I did. I probably 50, 60 at least on that first day. I didn't care if I didn't hear back from them or not. I just, I figured even if they told me no, I was one more closer to the next yes. Just like the 100 no's, after messaging 10 people, you're going to get at least 1 yes. But to be honest, I actually got more yeses than I got no's. I did get some no responses, but I just moved on. I figured, well, I'll just find somebody else.
Awesome. So when you talk about your parties are really interactive, what do you do to make your parties interactive? And you said you also have your host interact a lot, and that's really key. So how do you help your host do that?
Well, I developed a host coaching document, and I actually give her the words to use and pictures to post if she's that savvy, because some of them aren't. And sometimes when you're on a phone doing it, it's harder. But at least if she gets the words in there, because with the way the algorithms work on Facebook, since I'm not friends with the people, they don't always see my notifications when I post. But when the host posts, they see those. So I developed something for the host to do every single day. Like usually fun stuff. Like today's Monday, right? So today I would have her say, what did you cook over the weekend? Or, who's looking forward to the weekend? Or I need some new dinner ideas. What have you got? That sort of thing. So just to get the people, just, to have her talking to people. I also want her to comment on posts. And I also encourage my guests to comment. And I do like an emoji contest where it's not just hit the like button. They have to use the love button or the smiley button or the wow button. And they get points for that, for the drawing at the end. And since I started doing that too, that's really made a difference because, people want to get something for free. They always want to win the prize. And it's easy for them to do, but it also helps with the notifications and the algorithm. So when the party's more active with stuff like that, then the guests are more active because then they want to check in and see what's going on. And so those are the things I have found that really made a difference in it just being a flat party. Because, I don't want to just set it up on autopilot and let it go. I use SynthShare. I know some people use other programs, but I use SynthShare. And I could just set up all 10 days and let it go, but I don't do it like that. I'm very invested in my parties, just like I would if I was in a kitchen show. I want to get to know my guests. I do an interactive posts usually in the morning or at lunchtime, and then I do a game in the evening.
And what do you mean by interactive post?
Like a cute little picture of something. Like the other day I did, what kind of toast do you like? And it has like 15 different, like from burnt to like barely toasted, or marshmallows, like this summer when it was, s'more season, which way do you like your marshmallows? And usually quick posts that they can answer with a number because a lot of people are on their phones. So it makes it easier for them to hit a number than to actually like type out an answer. But it gets them interactive, and like the burnt toast one, I'm like, really, you guys really, but like I talk to people through it, and it gives you a chance to joke around. Another fun one that's really good is what did you hate to eat as a kid that you still won't eat it as an adult? And it's amazing. And I always say my answer too, like say for that one, I won't eat liver, and that's just gross. But it's amazing how many people won't eat liver. But you want the host to chime in. And that's something else that as part of my coaching, I tell my hosts is anytime there's a game or an interactive post, you need to post because your people need to see that you're in the party. It's just like if I was at your house, you wouldn't be in the bedroom. You'd be in the living room with everybody or in the kitchen. So I want them in there with them. So they have to post every day, even if it's at least once a day. But I have some posts.
Do you encourage them to post just once a day, or do you encourage them to post more?
If they can get in there more, but if at least once a day, because some people do work all day. So, they can only get in at nights. And that's why my games are at night, is because most people are available in the evenings. And then my interactive posts are in the morning, so that it gives them chance. Like if they check in at lunchtime, they're like, oh, I can tell Lori what my favorite toast is, or, what do I have in my fridge that you don't have? But just like posts to get the people busy and active in the parties is what I do.
And what type of games do you like to use the most? What do you find is most effective?
Either guessing games or like Family Feud.
Okay, those are the two main ones you use.
Yeah.
Lori, will you share, do you follow up individually with each of the guests when they order?
I thank them in the parties. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I started using was the thank you posts are actually tied to a product. So like it's, thank you for your order, but I use the products themselves, not just a pretty graphic, mm-hmm. because I only post 9 times a day. So that really doesn't get a whole lot of our products out there. And my 9 posts also include my interactive posts and my game posts. So by doing a thank you post with a product, it gets more products in front of people without me screaming at them, buy, buy, buy. Mm-hmm. So like, and I use all the Pampered Chef graphics and just write, thank you for your order in Canva or whatever. But it gets another product in front of people that they would, and it's amazing how, what's that? You didn't talk about the salad and berry spinner, but because they see it in the thank you post, it actually encourages people to purchase stuff that way too.
Very smart. Very smart. So do you talk to your host mostly on the phone, through Messenger, never on the phone? How do you communicate with your host?
Mostly through Messenger.
Have a phone call, or most all of your host coaching is done through Messenger?
Messenger.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hey, it's working, Lori. It's working. We want to know what you're doing.
It's easier to type than it is for me to call a lot of times, or text. Mm-hmm. Although I do have a text on my computer that I can use. But I do something when I send out, I don't know if you guys can read this. I'll snap a picture of it and put it on there, but it's something I attach to my catalogs when I send it. It's every host gets a host packet as if it were a catalog show. So they get at least 4 catalogs, order forms and stuff. And I encourage them, like this little note says, thanks for hosting a virtual party. I found that when the host checks into the group and comments, it's a more successful show. I'm sending catalogs for you to collect 3 to 5 outside orders, so you earn the most for free. So I really, my hostess coaching is also, it's all about them, not about me. It's about them, what I can get for them. But I really encourage the outside orders. I really encourage them to, comment, and it does make a difference, because I think my show average is even higher on virtual parties than it ever was with real kitchen parties.
Will you share that with everyone? You shared that with us earlier. Will you share what your shows were in May?
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me pull that up real quick. I was going to.
And also share, because you did earlier when we were chatting before we got on the recording, but Lori had talked about how many parties she did the 1st through the 10th and where her sales were, or the 1st through the 15th, but where your sales came in, and the $1,000 parties you had.
Yeah, hang on a second. Well, by the 15th, I had, needing 19,000 is an awful lot. So I really didn't know if I was going to make it or not, but thought even if I didn't, it was certainly worth a try. And looking back, I had 4, 5, 6. I had 6 parties that were over $1,000, and 2 of them were over $2,000. One was
my heavens!
Yeah, one was $2,300, and the other was $2,600. There was a couple that hovered over $1,000, or really close to $1,000. But by the 15th, I had turned in $8,000. So I realized I was probably on a good chance of making it. And I was pushing everybody. One of the things that, I do towards the end, like I don't really push the sales, like any postings about sales, until about day 8. And then, because they sort of kind of naturally come. Like some will order right when it starts, but I really truly think it's like a kitchen show. People want to see the whole show first before they order. So I've learned not to panic that nobody's ordering from day 1 through day 7 until day 8, because I think they don't want to miss anything. Even though I tell them throughout the party, if you add, place an order, you can always add to it, that sort of thing. But day 8, I give them double points. I started doing brownie points as opposed to tickets or whatever. I just call them brownie points just to kind of ties into the brownie pan. So they get double brownie points for their sales starting on day 8. And I think now people sort of wait for that, which is fine. I don't care. The points, it doesn't matter what the points are. They think they're getting something for it. But people seem to wait till the last 2 days of the party to order. And I've just learned not to panic, although I was panicking in May. But what I was doing too is I was pushing my guests and my hosts. Like, I'll make a post. She's $50 away from the next level and $250 away from the goal. And then once we hit that number, then I would say she's, $60 away from the next level and $100. Like I kept pushing my parties. So that's why they ended up getting to be so big for May. And I actually continued to do that because I saw how effective it was, because people want to help out their hosts, just like a regular party. So if I tell them they're so close, people are like, wow, maybe I will place an order, or they'll add to their order.
And this, you do this on day 9 and 10, or
yes.
8, 9, and 10?
Yeah, 9 and 10, yeah.
And you do this multiple times, not just once or twice?
Kind of depend. I kind of feel out the party. By then you kind of feel out the group, and you can sort of see if the orders are coming in. Then I'm updating the party. Like I'll say, because they'll see I thank my people every single time, so they're like, oh well, Jen ordered, and so then I'll update and say, Susie's only $50 away from the next level, and then somebody will order, and then I'll say now she's only, and people, it's almost like popcorn when it starts popping, people get excited and they're like, oh, I want to help out too.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you very much.
Now, are you continuing to, I'm assuming, are you continuing, you're probably still working bookings from those shows way into fall?
Yes. I did like 11,000. You guys posted the numbers. So I had a good June. I had a good July, a decent August for it being back to school. September's ramping up to be a pretty good month, and I'm already getting bookings for October too. So, yeah.
Lori, how do you keep track of all this with your host? How do you stay on top of it? Any tips for that? Do you use a spreadsheet to keep up with it? Do you just put it in your calendar? How do you keep up with whose show's going?
Sticky notes and sticky notes, but there's sort of a method to my madness. I have a notebook that I have tabbed out for each month. And then I have sticky notes with the host's name and when their party is running. And then if they booked from somebody, so then I know to go back to that past host and say, hey, don't forget you get your 50% off item. But then each month is just tabbed, and then I just stick the sticky notes, and then I can move them. Because one of the things I found, at least with virtual parties, they're easy to move around. Like say if all of a sudden somebody can't do it the 1st through the 10th, I'm like, okay, you can do it the 15th through the 24th. So then I just take the sticky note and move it to the next, the next section. I found that was easier to keep track of. Plus it was very visual for me to see it in front of me on paper, as opposed to like a spreadsheet.
Okay. And how do you think you're getting your bookings from your party? Are you working those during the party, or do you do a booking post you feel like contributes to that, or are you using your host to help with bookings? What do you do that secures your bookings from your parties?
I do have a post that doesn't go up until day 7. But I do encourage the host to jump on the bandwagon, especially when I post that post about booking a party. But I have found if people are having a good time, that they're already booking the party before I get to that post. They're like, I want to book a party. I'm like, okay, but I do encourage, that's part of my hostess coaching. The document too, like I have a post I send to her that she needs to work on getting bookings, for her to get the 50% off items. And the hostess coaching, that was something else I had to develop on the fly because I didn't really have anything in place. I individually message each of my hosts. I know some people like to put them in a group and do like a group posting, but I have found it's just like a conference call. Like if you're in a conference call and you're on mute, and you're not like this where I can see your face, you can be off doing other things and you're not going to pay attention. So I find it more personal. Because I think that's what's, it's a relationship that you're developing with your people. And I want it to be a closer relationship than be a group post. It would be easier, especially when I did 25 shows, to just plug in one post and be done with it. But I just copied and pasted it to each person. When it's on a computer, it's not so bad. On a phone, I think it would be trickier. I certainly wouldn't advise people to start out with doing 25 shows. I did, but it wasn't easy. My husband said all he saw was the back of my head.
So do you message them once a day or?
Yes, every morning.
Okay. Every morning you send them one thing.
Yep. And then I just open up all the message. Like if I have 10 parties going, I have 10 messages open and I copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So it's not that hard.
You have a system.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that's more effective than, some people like to do the group post thing and put like all their hosts in a group and do like a contest or whatever, but that's not what worked for me. It worked better for me to individually message each person every day.
You built that relationship.
Correct. Yeah.
So Lori, you mentioned earlier, is it too late to still book September shows? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely not. It is the 11th. We can book, I can start my parties anytime. I do like to do them. I like doing the 1st through the 10th and the 15th through the 24th because it's easier to keep track of in my head because that's when I know I do my parties, but I can start them anytime because since I run a 10-day party and I do 9 posts a day, I post at 7, 12, and at 5. So even though they get the catalogs a couple days later, it's okay. They still have time to collect orders like from people that aren't on Facebook. But if they give me their information, I can set their party up on Facebook and I can set it up on the website. I could start it tomorrow. So that's the beauty of these. Like you don't have to think about cleaning your house and, when your friends are going to be free. You've got 10 days that you'll catch people within those 10 days. Mm-hmm. So it's absolutely never too late to book a party. You could book them for tomorrow.
So Lori, our teams all have our team outline. So they're equipped and ready to go with a virtual party, or could be within about 24 hours if they haven't already gotten an outline. So that step's kind of taken care of. So what would you say to somebody that either has not done a virtual party yet or hasn't really, booked the number of virtual parties they want? How would you suggest they get started with virtual parties for September? It's not too late.
It is not too late. Absolutely not. I would just start messaging your friends, green dot. You can even text people, say, hey, I'm trying something new. Would you be my guinea pig? I'll reward you with free products, and we've got an awesome new catalog. And
yes, we do.
Why wouldn't you want to book a party? Hey, they need to stock up on the fluted pans, especially the mini fluted pans. I'm selling a ton of those. I don't know what it is. It's adorable, but, I would just message people, and I still haven't stopped messaging people, even though I have done quite a few now. I'm still brand new at this. So it's still okay to say, I'm trying something new. Would you be willing to help me out? Because I still have friends on my list I haven't contacted. Why not?
19,000 in 1 month, 11,000 in 1 month, 10,000. I'm still kind of new at this.
I still am. Hey, I only started in May.
That's right. You're only 3 months in. 4 months
right. In. I need help working this out.
And I just want to kind of end this with that. I think the biggest piece of this too also is you were willing to go for it. You were willing to believe that it was achievable. On April 24th, when you sat in an airport, probably being a little jet lagged and travel weary, on April 24th, you sat in an airport and you believed it was possible. So you had the courage to go for it.
It was very helpful that Kristen believed that she believed in the process. Mm-hmm. And the proof was in all the people that I met on the trip that earned it in 3 months. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is crazy. So I knew that the process worked. And the fact that she was so she was really gung-ho about it. She was like, I can teach you how to do this. Now, of course, I had to do the work. I had to get, the bookings and stuff. But it's funny when you I started getting all those yeses, and it kept me booking. I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll keep booking because everybody keeps saying yes. Why would I stop? And if I feel like I've hit my limit, then I'll set them up for the next chunk that I do them. Because I do try to keep it manageable so that I'm not at my computer 24 hours a day. Well, not that it could be, but I think it's important to be in the party and not messaging, but commenting, and so you don't miss out on anything. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with how the whole system works, and it's pretty silly that I didn't try virtuals before now.
So Lori, you did these virtual parties in May, June, and July to really have this, and I know we've done August now. We had your stats for those months. So, to really ramp up your sales and your virtual party schedule. So what would you say to somebody now? Could they still earn a trip this year? We're in September.
Absolutely. I am 11,000 away from earning Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And
congratulations.
Thank you. I should earn it this month. I have never, ever, ever earned a trip. I usually skate in December 29th, when I earn a trip. So to say that I've earned the top level trip by September is just mind blowing. This is the hottest selling season we're coming into for us. So even if you scheduled, say, 10 to 12 virtual parties, in addition to any kitchen parties you do, you could easily hit top level trip by December. I don't see any reason why you couldn't.
They definitely have a wonderful Foundation for Excellence Award also.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'll be happy to share my hostess document, the coaching document.
And I'd love to see the words for booking shows. There's a couple cute little interactive posts, and I think it was important that you said how you just want to feel like you're in their living room and building that relationship with them. Those interactive posts, I think, are important. Sometimes we get caught up on the sales and the games, but the interactive posts are allowing you to build the relationship so they buy from you.
Absolutely. And I think it does develop the comfort level. Like, I don't come off as the used car salesman, so to speak. And I've always hated that feeling at a show. Like, I always start my show, how do you know our host? What's your favorite product? What do you like to cook? Like warming up the crowd, so to speak. And I'm amazed that the people are loving and I just steal from other people. I haven't created anything myself. I mean, I don't think any of us do. That's what's awesome about this business, is everybody is so great about sharing. But I didn't create any of these posts. I just take the pictures from all the different groups that are out there. But the interactive posts, I think, is really where it's at, because you've got to develop that relationship with everybody in the party.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing you say you don't have to reinvent the wheel in terms
Absolutely
of
not.
Or graphics, or you don't have to spend a lot of time doing that or be tech savvy. You can take the best parts of a lot of different things and put them together for a template.
Absolutely. And because I don't think my show itself is special. I mean, it's the same pictures that people are using. I use the words from Pampered Chef. Like, if you actually click on the products and click view, it shows all the words that Pampered Chef uses for that product. I copy and paste that and put that into I don't create anything new. I just use what's out there. Mm-hmm. So I really don't think my show is special. I just think it's what you put into your show.
It's the relationships.
That's where your magic is, Lori. You're building relationships with a guest in there and with your host, and they're having fun. And the number one reason that people book a party is because they had fun and they want their friends to be able to experience the same thing. And so you've hit it right. You've hit the nail on the head right there. Your magic is in what you're doing in the party and how you're working the party. Right. And you're right. If you set that outline up to run for 10 days and didn't do anything, you're not going to see near what the success you've seen. If anything, those would probably be all your dud shows.
Yes, it would be.
Yes.
But, I left my house twice in May and sold $21,000.
That is unbelievable. And the income that you can generate for your family by picking up a virtual business like this and doing more shows than we could ever physically be gone doing on the cooking show level. So adding this in on top of your cooking shows can create, a wonderful income for your family.
Yeah, I made almost $5,000 in May.
Yes.
And For everyone out there watching us, I think about the income potential as we head into the holidays. Talk about paying cash for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's cash
absolutely.
for Christmas and some new furniture too.
That's right.
Yes.
That's presents for me.
That's exactly right.
Lori, thank you so much for being willing to share. And, Lori's going to share her message with everyone that she used to initially book these parties, tweak it up a little bit, and get busy today sending out messages. You can have 10 parties booked on your calendar in one day. That is just unbelievable. And, Lori was encouraged by other people out there that are doing this. So we want this to encourage you to be able to do what you want to with your goals this fall, because you absolutely can. Lori, thank you again so much for sharing with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
So hang on, I'm going to stop the recording. Maybe. I'm on my phone. Okay, here we go.